Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. It is Game Week 19. Today, we'll be having a look at my team for Game Week 19. We'll be having a bit of a discussion about transfers that I know some of you are considering making. We'll talk about any potential injury news that we have, all in today's stream. First of all, those of all who were celebrating yesterday, I hope you had a very, very nice Christmas. Today is Boxing Day in the UK, and there is so much football on, which is always the highlight of some of the year for football fans in the UK. So I hope you enjoy today as well. Before we dive into the questions, do say hello in the chat. Let me know how you are doing, and then we will get into the usual rounds of questions. The lighting is a little bit off. I do apologize. I look like I'm in the dark a little bit. I wonder if it's as bad on stream as it looks on my camera. But let me check that. Say hello, and then we'll do the usual bits this morning. On the bright side, I don't have to panic about my own transfers today. It looks pretty straightforward for me to roll a transfer. Oh, it looks all right actually on stream. It looks all right actually on stream. It looks all right. I look a little bit lower quality, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. Good morning to Sanderpan, Fiona. Good morning to Mike. Good morning to Gwyn. Good morning to Fiona again. Joe, Arthur, AJ, Adam, Daniel Banks, Craig, Carter, Hanny, Coopsy, Taylor, Edward, Gia, Mr. Was Up, MD, Lewis, Adam, Balti, Dale, Sarah, Jane, Hanny, Mac, Ali. Good morning to all the members in this morning as well. Apologies you didn't get your member stream this game week, but it wasn't going to happen yesterday, unfortunately. iDroid, JJV, Mike, History of a Minute, Noak, Amelia, Victory, BL, Oliver. Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing? I hope you are doing well. So, we've got, as usual, in the top right-hand corner of the stream, the usual bits for you all. If you're looking for defenders, if you are looking for midfielders, if you're looking for forwards, you're wondering who your captain should be, there is a captaincy ranking. There are top players to buy across all positions as well, if that's what you're here looking for. Of course, I will answer questions, but in case that's just what you want, then that's there for you. 1 a.m. in Seattle. Well, I appreciate you all joining the stream this morning. So, Cameron, thank you very much for the super chat. Is bench boost non-double game week more feasible this season? I'm very tempted to bench boost this week. Petrovic, Saliba, Gordon, Archer. Yes, it definitely is more feasible this season than in previous seasons. We have a good bench, a lot of us this week. The other thing is that we're likely to have less big double game weeks this season compared to what we had in previous seasons. There's less clashes with the cup this season than there are in previous seasons, just because there's less postponements and stuff like that. So it definitely makes a single game week bench boost more feasible. I still wouldn't advise doing it because I still think there's enough double game weeks to play your bench boost and your triple captain separately. But you do have Petrovic at home to Crystal Palace. You have Saliba at home to West Ham. You have Gordon at home to Nottingham Forest and Archer at home to Luton. So I would probably say, do I think that bench can score 20 points or 16 points, which is always the target on bench boost, 16, because that's 4 players with a double game week. If they all blank, that's 16 points. So you want to be scoring a minimum of 16. So that's 2 returns. Do I think your defense can get, your bench can get 2 returns? Yeah, I probably do. I don't think it will go massive, but I think it definitely could. Start Colwill or Archer. I mean, I could play Archer. I don't know if you disagree, but would you play Archer over anyone in my team? I could play him over Pedro Porro. I could play him over Gabriel as well, but I'm not certain it's worth it. That's what I'm deciding at the moment. I probably would play Archer, to be honest, just because Chelsea defensively have looked a little bit all over the place. Then without Palmer and Sterling, we likely won't look as good as we have done in the past couple of weeks. Bench 1, Trent, Gabriel, Porro or Trippier. I mean, it's Gabriel or Porro, right? And it's the same situation that I'm in, trying to pick between one of them. Brighton have been a little bit off the boil recently, but they are probably the better, consistent goal scoring side. What did Brighton do last weekend? They drew 1-1 with Palace. The thing is Brighton scoring almost every game, so I probably would play Gabriel. Although I don't think there's that much in it between Porro and Gabriel. My initial thought was to bench Gabriel, but then when Romero got injured, I thought I'd bench Pedro Porro. Am I stupid, Harry? I did a Lascelles to Gusto, still having Tsimikas, Haaland, Palmer and Colwill. I mean, I don't think Lascelles is going to play. I'm fairly confident that it will be a Botman, Fabian Schär back two. Yeah, I don't think he's going to start Lascelles. So selling him versus I would have sold Tsimikas first, just because he's more expensive, so you get more money out of him. But I don't expect either Lascelles or Tsimikas to start this game. And then with the fixtures that Newcastle have got from next week, Lascelles becomes pretty useless until about game week 23. And then Botman and Schär will be playing unless there's another injury. So yeah, maybe I would have sold Tsimikas first, but there's not that much in it. If Lascelles does start, would I play him over Porro? It depends if you've got another Newcastle. I don't know, if you've got no Newcastle defensive cover at home to Forest, maybe, but I just don't think he's going to start. I just don't think he's going to start at all. I'd be very surprised. Differential captains this week. To be honest, there's quite a lot of good differential captains this week. The majority of people will be going on Salah, and we can always do a poll on captaincy. A lot of you will be captaining Salah, and with that being the case, pretty much anyone else is going to be a decent differential. Like Son is definitely a good differential away at Brighton. Solanke at home to Fulham. Like Trent, Trippier with their fixtures. There are lots of good differentials this week. Because everyone, pretty much, I think loads of us are going to be on Salah. And I'm not necessarily sure it's the right thing, but Game Week 19 captaincy. I am quite tempted by Son. He's about the only other one that I would consider putting it on. I'm not sure I'd ever captain Solanke as much as I would, as much as it's quite entertaining. I don't think I'd ever do it. Play Isaac or Archer. I probably would play Isaac. He was on the bench last game, wasn't he? He could easily start that one. Trent, captain. I mean, I've put a poll in the chat, so let's see what you all say. If you guys are at a point where you're either making a transfer when you've got Cole Palmer or something, or you're playing Cameron Archer, I would definitely just play Archer this week. As much as I don't expect him to be as focal and central as he was versus Aston Villa, I think McBurney might start against Luton, and then that means that they play Archer a bit wider. But that's not necessarily a bad thing always. He got a little bit isolated mid in the central spot. Yeah, the only issue with Son is that he's lost his 9 spot to Richarlison. It's definitely true, but if Richarlison has a back issue and everyone's fit, then it's possible that Richarlison would get a rest, but I don't think that will happen. I do think Son and Richarlison will both start again. Yeah, it's definitely exciting as Son captain. No, I'm actually at home. I'm at my own parents' house now. Holly and I spent the morning on Christmas yesterday at her family, and then about midday, they live about an hour and a half away. We drove from one to another, so I took down all my kit on the evening of the 24th, packed it all up, brought it here. Then about 9 o'clock last night, I set it up, and then we're here again. Cameron Archer is absolutely fine to play this week. I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. Like, do I think he's like going to set the world light? No. Do I think his data is really good? No. But he has Luton at home. And if there's ever a week that you have to rely on your bench, like if you are relying on your bench at any point in the season and you've picked Cameron Archer and then you're not playing him the week you need your bench and he has Luton at home, then yeah, I feel like it's just tailor-made for this is when you use your bench. And he's got a great fixture, so I've absolutely no problem playing him. Is Lascelles to Trippier worth it, or roll and wait on Newcastle bad couple of fixtures? I mean, it depends, because I don't think Lascelles is going to start today. So, depends who else you've got in your defender. I'm not sure Trippier is massively worth buying now. He's probably the mistake I made last week, but I know I want him. Like, when these fixtures come from game week 23 onwards, I'll just be happy to have Trippier in my team. Because that's about the time that both Son and Salah will be coming back from their tournament. I don't want to be using another transfer to try and bring in Trippier, who is another expensive asset, because I'll already be scraping money to try and find, or people will be scraping money to try and find Son and Salah back into their teams. And I'll already have Trippier. So I'm actually quite pleased with the transfers I made last week. They didn't massively pay off. The -4 I got +1 because Trent outscored Simicast by 5. And then Trippier outscored Livramento by 1. So it outscored it by 4 and by 1. So it outscored it by 5 and I took a -4. So I'm 1 point better up, and now I've got Trippier and Trent in my team. So, do I think Livramento will start? If I was guessing, I would say Livramento plays at left back this game, with Botman and Chaël at centre back, with Trippier at right back. I mean, it's in theory possible that Livramento plays at right back, but I think it's unlikely. No transfer this week. I mean, I don't think so. My team was like, I also knew when I made those 2 transfers in defence last week that I'd be giving myself a benching headache this week. And then when Cole Palmer picked up that yellow card, it basically gave me a free route out of that benching headache. So there's no reason for me to make a transfer this week. The other thing, of course, is Erling Haaland. Just on Haaland, as I said in my team selection video, I'd be very surprised if he started versus Everton. It's possible. If you've got Haaland, definitely start him. But I just wouldn't be buying him this week. I'm not even guaranteed that he's going to start Sheffield United if he's not back in training yet. And that's like a fixture that they might think they can get through without him. And then after that, if you look at the fixtures for Man City, apart from the Cup, let me get it up on another tab. For you. There we go. Right, so if you look at the City fixtures, so after that Sheffield United game, they have Huddersfield at home in the Cup, which presumably, like, Haaland would never play in anyway. Then it's not until Newcastle on the 13th of January. So if they don't play him in either of these 2, he gets an extra 2 weeks recovery time. It's possible that he makes the bench versus Sheffield United, but like I'm not even certain that he's going to start either of the next 2. So, yeah. I wouldn't be buying Haaland. If you've got him, start him. If you don't have him, don't buy him. But I do need to know that at some point I'm going to buy him, which is why rolling a transfer is so beneficial now, because I spent the money. I spent the Haaland money on Trent, and I spent the Haaland money on Trippier. So I just need to free up the money to do that, and to buy Haaland back, I know I need 2 transfers. So, yeah. Rolling the transfer this week definitely feels like the right play. Alvarez opinion, like Alvarez is a good option until Haaland comes back. Because as soon as Haaland comes back and De Bruyne comes back, that for me is a big red flag on Alvarez. Because he's playing the De Bruyne role at the moment. So their midfield three, Rodri, if he's going to be fine, Bernardo Silva, and at the moment, then Alvarez. With a front three of Doku or Grealish, Haaland, and then who's playing on the right? Foden? Let me get their most recent lineup. Oh no, not their most recent one. So as soon as Haaland comes back in, he goes up front. And as soon as De Bruyne comes back in, he goes in what is the De Bruyne role? Yeah, Foden. So Alvarez is a fine hold. I just don't think I'd be buying him now because you might get 2 game weeks out of him before he's not a good asset anymore. And to be honest, he's been pretty good on the pitch, but when they're struggling a little bit and he's not returning in terms of like goals and assists very much, like this is not acceptable for a Man City striker, really. Like, I think he will go, Haaland and De Bruyne will go straight in. So I just don't know where Alvarez plays. So if you've got Alvarez, again, like he's a definite hold this week. And he's like even a differential shout as captain because he's going to be playing up front for them. But yeah. Livramento out for who? Already have Trent, Porro and Saliba. Well, then I wouldn't sell him this week because you don't need to sell him because you can just play a back three. I don't know who's going to start out of Livramento and Dan Burn. In theory, Livramento could play left back and Dan Burn could... Livramento could play right back and Dan Burn could play left back. I don't think that's going to be the case, but it's possible. If I had to predict, I'd say Livramento starts this one. But I don't know. You're dead serious. You want to captain Watkins or Nunes as a differential. Your rank is bad. Which one should you go for? I mean, I personally wouldn't. Like, if you're captaining Watkins away at United with some of the other fixtures we've got this week, I don't. And then you're captaining Nunes when you've got Salah right there who's on penalties. Like, I know I say it, but don't captain a differential or don't pick a differential just for the sake of picking a differential. Pick a differential if you think they're actually going to score more points, because at the end of the season, having more points is better than having less points. So even if you score, you know, a good differential return, if the high-owned player outscores them, you're worse off. So, yeah. Okay, start 3 of Porro, Gabriel, Bowen, Archer. I mean, I probably would bench Archer. I know he scored last game, so that is impacting people's thinking a little bit on him, but I probably would bench Archer. We have 2,500 of you in here, and we've been live for 20 minutes. So thank you all for joining. But there is only 200 likes on the stream. So if you could just make sure you've liked and subscribe if you are new around here as well, because we are on the road to 100k. We are 9,100 away. So I'm hoping we might hit it this season, which would be crazy. Dave, which one to bench? Livramento, Gabriel, Saliba, Archer. It depends if you're confident on a Livramento benching or not. I probably would bench Archer or Livramento. Because Gabriel and Saliba, maybe I'd bench one of them and just not double up on Arsenal. Maybe I'd bench Saliba and hope that Livramento does start. Mitch, at the end of the season, having more points is better than having less points. But it's true. Like, even if you get all your points from differentials, if you have less points, then that's bad. Hope you had a good Christmas. Really wanted, and Nkunku feel he's going to haul, but have Watkins, Slanky, and Alvarez. I mean, it's only really Alvarez that I'd consider selling to go and buy him. It's only really Alvarez that I'd consider selling to go and buy him. I'm not sure I'd do it this week. Without Palmer and Sterling there, I worry about us going forward. We're going to, yes, we'll have to rely on Nkunku a lot, but I'm not sure I'd be buying Chelsea attack without Palmer and Sterling playing. Although Sterling's been, less said about Sterling's performance last weekend, the better, I think. Am I planning to keep Saka and Trent long term? Not both of them. Probably one of them. And I don't quite know who that one is going to be yet. I currently think it would probably be Trent. I'm not very pleased with Saka as an asset at the moment, as I think most of you probably aren't. Like, the upcoming fixtures for them are great, and that's fine, because the fixtures are great while Salah and Son are away at AFCON and Asia Cup. But his returns have been pretty awful, so I probably plan on parting ways with Saka at some point, but I'll come back to that in a second, just once I answer these questions. We might end up not going back to Salah and Son. Think Solanke captain is much worse than Salah captain. Coming off a haul at home, then think Solanke captain could be a solid. I think he's definitely a solid. He's my third on my captaincy ranking. He's third on my captaincy ranking. So he's definitely a good differential. Definitely. Yeah, go for it. You have Lascelles and Willian, who are doubts, and to fill in the 11, you have to play one free transfer and 2.4 million in the bank. Would I prefer rolling, but I'm going to be left with 10 men? What would I do? I'd probably sell one of them. I probably wouldn't roll. Getting an extra player out this week is, worth it for a transfer, especially given it's a free transfer. You had Lascelles and Simicaz, also had Porris, Lieber and Gabriel in defence, and don't have Haaland and have one transfer. Should I get in Trent or roll the transfer to next week to be able to get Haaland? The thing is, if you go and buy Trent, you're going to make it even harder for yourself to buy Haaland. So I probably would roll, given you can just put out a good team without it. If you need a starter this week, then make the transfer, but if you don't need to start someone this week, then I'd just roll. The lighting is really doing my head in this morning. Let me have a look at it again on stream. Is it as bad as it looks here? It's not great. It also just makes it all look a bit like blurry, but please read out, Nolu, you will make a great mother. Well, if you're having a child, congratulations. Congratulations. Any thoughts about Newcastle? I mean, they're much better at home than they are away, right? So I'm not panicking at all about this game. From next week, let me get Plan FPL up. Yeah, so from next week, I'll have 2 transfers, and luckily Areola's come back in, so I won't have to double up on the defence, because I can just play Areola, which is a real, godsend, I can't lie. Like, getting to play Areola against Brighton, Sheffield United, Bournemouth, rather than playing Dubravka against Liverpool, Man City, Villa, definitely feels like, a bit of a win, I can't lie. So, happy that he's come back in. Means I don't have to double up on the defence. And, Gordon, the thing is with Gordon, I do want to keep him, because these fixtures, as I said with Trippier, like, these fixtures are so good, and they have no Europe now. Like, not even finished third and got knocked out to the lower competition. They've got no Europe for this run of fixtures. Just selling Gordon feels like something I don't really want to do. Sorry, spam. I will stop. What do I think about Trent as a captain this week? Yeah, he's up. He's fine. I'm just not really one for captaining defenders. I'm not really a big one for captaining defenders. just because like someone else can make a mistake and they lose the clean sheet, and that is part of the route to their points. So if they were at home to Burnley, maybe, because they're much better at Anfield, but yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Luca Dean versus Alex Moreno is an interesting one. I just don't know who's gonna play every week, and I think they might rotate, which means I think both of them are no-goes. Dean has been really good for them, but like Alex Moreno could easily play the next game. So I wouldn't buy either Dean or Alex Moreno. If you've got one, fine to hold and just guess. And just hope they start. But I wouldn't be buying either of them new. Should you take a -4 for Cash, you currently have 10 players, then yes. Because, I mean, not only is Cash not going to start because he's been dropped, he's also suspended this week. So, yeah. Top right needs to include goalkeepers. Maybe I should add goalkeepers as well. I think Livramento deserves to play. After he's been so good for them, and then they lose 1-0 to Luton, I find it hard to imagine that he doesn't come back in, but I don't quite know where. My guess is at left back in place of Dan Burn just for this game, because Dan Burn has just returned from injury, and they don't seem to want to play Dan Burn overly, like overuse him. They don't feel like they want to overuse him. So I'm not sure I really... Yeah. Let's see. But sell Lascelles or Haaland from -4. Only 10 players starting. If you've got Haaland, I wouldn't sell him. But I'm not sure I'd be confident. Yeah. What do I think of Kyle Walker for Tsimikas? He was in my top replacements for him. I don't hate it. The thing is, City defensively are, in terms of underlying data, one of the best. In terms of actual clean sheets, they just leak goals. They just don't seem to care. There's no consistency in terms of their defence at the moment. The upcoming fixtures are good, and they'll likely have a double game week before game week 26. So yeah. Would I do it? Probably not at 5.3. Probably not. I'd rather double up on Arsenal than go and buy Kyle Walker, but I don't hate it. Like, I wouldn't put you off it, but I'm not sure I'd do it myself. Douglas Luiz and Bailey, is it good? I probably wouldn't double up on them, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably just go consistency of Douglas Luiz, because you know he's going to play pretty much 90 every game. He's on penalties. Leon Bailey is a little bit more rotation prone. You never know, like Diaby might suddenly be the one that they come back into the team with. So, yeah. You have 2 transfers and getting Trent and thinking to get Gabriel or play Kabore and save the transfer to get Haaland. I'd use the transfer and not play Kabore. If you had double arse defense and Porro, Konsa and Lascelles, would I still get Trent? If so, how? No, I wouldn't. I'd play, Arsenal, Porro, double Arsenal and Porro probably. Double Arsenal and Porro is probably what I would play. Any news on Estupiñán? None. It's just worth mentioning that people asking for like updates on injuries like Pau Torres, like Estupiñán there, like a few others I've seen in the chat as well. With it being Christmas Day yesterday in the UK, and Lascelles is the other one, although I don't think Lascelles will start even if he is fit, we won't get an update. There are no press conferences for Game Week 19. There might be some today for games tomorrow. Like we might hear Pep speak today about the game tomorrow. But we won't get anything pre-deadline because managers don't speak to the press on Christmas Day. So we don't get a press conference yesterday. We didn't get one the day before because that was a Sunday. So yeah, we just don't have a pre-Game Week 9 press conference for any team. Alid, glad someone noticed. The symmetry of my midfield and defence is really quite appealing. It looks quite nice. It looks quite nice. Botman to start? I think so. I'm guessing, but I think so. Thoughts on Bailey? I'd rather Douglas Luiz. I put Douglas Luiz in my transfer targets video this week. I'd probably prefer him. Cyril Livramento to Gusto for a hit? No, because I think Livramento might start today. -4 in Richarlison or Foden or Diaby. Richarlison. A lot of people are going to be going to Richarlison soon. When like Salah and Son go to AFCON and Asia Cup, a lot of people will go there because he has that Bournemouth at home fixture next week. I prefer Bowen if you can get to him, but I do quite like Richarlison. Stephen, thank you for joining as a GOAT tier. Wow, welcome. Drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to the group chats. Gusto or Botman? To start this week, probably Botman. Can I say Lascelles sells seashells on the seashore? Lascelles sells seashells on the seashore. If you're looking for top midfielders, someone just asked who are the top midfielders. They're up there in the top right. Bowen is my number one now. I know he has difficult fixture away at Arsenal this week, but Simicast for Gomez. I wouldn't be buying Gomez because Robertson's expected back in game week 21. So that gives you 2 weeks of Gomez, which are Burnley and Newcastle. I wouldn't be buying Joe Gomez. Definitely wouldn't be buying Joe Gomez. Any news on Wilson? No. Again, no press conference news on any team. Nothing on any team. Start Colwell or Archer today? Part of me would go Archer. Just because I worry about Chelsea defensively. I just worry about how we're going to look generally as a team without Palmer or Sterling in there. It's more, Cole's going to start. I don't mind us defensively, but I just worry about us a little bit as a team as a whole, how we can keep the ball and control a game without those two playing. Thoughts on bringing in Harry Kewell? What a guy. I only know him because of FIFA, or EAFC. What about Hwang? I wouldn't be buying him because, of course, he goes away to the Asia Cup. He's not been great recently. But, if you want to keep him for the next 2 before he goes away in game week 21, fine. But he's not been great recently. Wolves as a whole have not been as good going forward, particularly. Ross Barkley, not as an FPL asset, right? But he's been pretty good recently. Been very impressed with him. He's got 3 returns in his last 4. And has Sheffield United and Burnley in 2 of the next 3. And he's 4.9 million. I've seen worse picks out there. But I'm not sure I would do it. I've seen worse picks out there. But I'm not sure I'd do it. That's interesting because... the reason that is interesting... is if we switch to a 3-4-3... we might need a cheap midfielder. And Barkley and Luton will have a double at some point. So if their double isn't until later on in the season, I can see a lot of people going 3-4-3 with Barkley on the bench as part of their bench boost. Once Neto returns, Wolves will pop off again. Potentially, but we don't know when that's going to be. And Hwang's about to go to the Asia Cup. So, yeah, start Morgan Gibbs White or Baldock. Probably Morgan Gibbs White. I know it's not a great fixture. I don't expect much from either of those this week. Barkley was like that at Villa, then went rubbish after Christmas. Yeah, that period at Villa where he was so good. He was a great FPL asset for us all. Livramento, yes or no? I wouldn't buy. If you've got him, I probably wouldn't take a hit to remove him. I'd probably start him. Haaland, yeah. So if I had Haaland, I'd start him. I'm not sure he'll feature. I don't even think he'll be on the bench personally. But if you've got him, yeah, I would start him. We don't normally get Newcastle team news, but let's see. Hold Isaac or transfer for Nkunku or Jesus. I think he probably starts today. But I don't know. Nkunku's probably safer for a start this week, but then we don't know he starts the next one either. Like, he might play Palace and then not play Luton because they come so quick. So, yeah. I probably wouldn't sell Isaac. I just hope he starts this morning. So, top defenders, yeah. Let's Simicast replacements. Let's go through them because there's a lot of questions. I mean, top defenders are up there in a second. Like, if you can get to Trent, great. But it is Arsenal now because if you don't have a Gabriel, like, if you don't own this guy, he's the number one replacement. West Ham at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Forest away. Just having Arsenal defender in your team is the best. If you don't want to double up on them and you've already got one, then maybe you look elsewhere. I still like Pedro Porro. Like, still great. The fixtures long term, still great. So that's good. Like, Colwell and Gusto. Like, the fixtures are still good over the next 6. Still decent there. Like, do I expect loads of clean sheets from us? No, but they're at a cheap price and Gusto has some attacking threat as well. And then, I mean, it's quite hard apart from that. Everton, but they play City this week, so you probably don't want to buy them this week. It's kind of Arsenal, and if you don't want to go Arsenal, it is kind of Chelsea. Bilal, thank you for joining as a top tier member. Just drop me a message on Instagram or Twitter and I'll get you added to all of the group chats. Is it a good choice to get a -4 hit this week? I mean, it depends what your transfers are, right? There's no good or bad week to take a hit. If the transfers you're taking a hit for you think are going to pay off, then go for it. I hadn't taken a hit all season. And then I took 2 in the space of 2 weeks. I took 1 in game week 17 and 1 in game week 18. Yeah, so I took 1 in game week 17. I made 2 transfers and it paid off. I made 1 in game week 18 and it also paid off. So it's no good or bad. People asking how many points I'm on. 1,074, and that puts me just outside the top 100k. But rolling a transfer this week, I imagine straight after the deadline with people taking hits, I'll probably go back inside the top 100k. That's how close it is. But yeah, doesn't matter so much at the moment. Yeah, Alfie Dirty is another one. I'm not sure I would do it. He is 4.4. Does have Sheffield United and Burnley. They're both away, though, in the next 3. He has been, like, pretty good. Like, 2 assists against Arsenal. A clean sheet against Newcastle, which got him maximum bonus. But previously, like, he's not been great. I'm not sure I'd be piling in on a Luton defender. I'm not sure I'd be doing that, but... Play Lascelles or Archer. Archer, because I'm not sure Lascelles will start. You start between Zinchenko to start against West Ham or Archer against Luton. You already have Gabriel. I mean, Zinchenko was an absolute liability the other day. He was so bad in that previous game. Who did they play? Liverpool. He was awful. So, I mean, that shouldn't impact your decision this week. I'd probably play Zinchenko over Gabriel and play Archer. Probably is where I'd be. CM, hope I had a good Christmas. You have 2 free transfers and your team exactly the same as yours. Who would I suggest? I mean, I'd probably do Taylor to Gusto if I had a spare transfer. If I had another transfer this week, I probably would do Taylor to Gusto. Probably. Yeah. Look at this. This was the pain of my last week. Like, that was awful. Once I'd seen... So, first was Archer, then Areola, then Charlie Taylor, and then as soon as those 3 had come in, like, at home to United, away at Fulham, and away at Villa, I'd got returns from the players on my bench. I was just like, well, I'm just going to... I should have started Gabriel. I was so certain that he was going to do something. And after 5 minutes when he scored, I was just like, as if. As if. Did anyone get more than 32 points on their bench? Did anyone get more than 32 on their bench? Any news about Nkunku? No, but I do think it's about time that he starts a game. I do think, especially with Sterling and Palmer out, like, we're lacking attackers right now. So, I think he'll probably start. But I don't know. So, Cash to Gusto is good. Yes, if you've got Cash, he's a definite sell this week. Because you're just losing, you're like just bleeding value through him. So, yes, I would be selling him. He's probably my good cheap defender right now. If you don't want to go up to Colwell, I probably would go Gusto. To be honest, there's probably not that much between the 2 of them anyway. What time is it? We have an hour and 15 to go to the deadline. It's nice to not have to panic about my own transfers on stream. It means I can be a little bit better at answering questions than panicking about what to do. The only thing I have is, do I start Archer over one of my defenders? Over Porro or Gabriel? That's the only thing I've really got to decide. And I'm probably not going to decide, and I'll just end up keeping it as it is. But that's about the only thing. Predicted points makes it very close this week. It actually says I should start Archer over Pedro Porro. Predicted points say I should start Archer over Pedro Porro. Archer has 3.5. Porro has 3.1. Gabriel has 3.9. Both Trent and Trippier have over 5 predicted points this week, which is unheard of. They have more predicted points than everyone else in my team, apart from Saka and Salah. More than Son. Predicted points makes Saka a better captaincy option than Son. I don't think I believe that, but... In fact, I definitely don't believe that. Start Dubravka or Raya? Probably Raya. I mean, I know Newcastle are better at home than they are away, but they're still so hit and miss. At the moment. Start Udogi or Bulldog. I mean, it depends if you've got Porro. I still would probably go Udogi. Out of the 2. Son, captain. I mean, Salah is my captain, and he's top of my captaincy ranking to recommend to you guys who to captain. I don't dislike Son at all. I don't dislike the Son captaincy at all. But Salah has been very good. His away returns are not... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. His away return. So, away at Palace, I mean, he got 13. Away at Sheffield United, he blanked. Away at City, he got an assist. Away at Luton, he blanked. home. Away at Brighton, he got 15. So I don't even think, like, yeah. I'm pretty confident that my captaincy is going to stay on Mo Salah. I'd be surprised if my team changes. The only thing that's going to happen is I'm going to start Cole Palmer. Just to annoy everyone. Watkins captain. I mean, definitely not. Like, United have not been good, but I'm not sure I'd captain Watkins away at them compared to some of the other options we've got this week. Who's the best replacement for Son, other than Saka, if I have Richarlison, Bowen, Salah and Palmer? From next week. I mean, am I allowed to say Odegaard? Am I allowed to say Odegaard? He's been more consistent recently than Salah has. If you don't want Arsenal at all, and yeah, I mean Arsenal is just the answer. Pascal Gross. You're all gonna laugh at me, but he's been so good. Played 33 against Chelsea because he got injured. He got 9 against Forest, 12 against Brentford, 7 against Burnley, and 7 against Palace. At some point, we've got to start considering him. At some point, we've got to start considering him. What do I think about captaincy, Trent versus Burnley? I mean, I'm not going to do it, and I probably wouldn't recommend ever captaining a defender, but he's probably one of the better differentials this week. It's yeah. His attacking threat is there, but he's definitely not going to get any game time in midfield now, which is both a positive and a negative. It's not massively important. But without Tsimikas, he will play the whole game at right back now because Joe Gomez will play the whole game at left back. Gomez can't come on at right back and push Trent into midfield. So, best transfer option this week, please, from the below. 2 free transfers. Choose 1 Colwill to Gabriel, Saliba to Gabriel, 3 Darwin and Colwill to Trent and Archer for free, or Darwin. I'll probably just do Saliba to Gabriel. It's just an easy way to free up some money. Easy way to free up a bit of money. Is Lascelles playing? We actually never get early Newcastle news. I personally don't think he will, but yeah. Like, I think the back four will be, I think it'll be Botman, Share, and then I think it'll be Trippier and then Livramento is currently my prediction, but I don't know. Whether Lascelles is available or not, I don't think it changes the fact that I don't expect him to start. Botman didn't start the last game, and they're obviously easing him back in. So, yeah, my prediction is that he won't start, but yeah, like, he's just building up minutes. Start Livramento over Gabriel or Porro. Probably not, because I'm not 100% certain on that prediction. So I would start Gabriel and Porro just because I think they'll start. Did I transfer in Trent? No, I bought Trent last week. I bought Trent in game week 18 for -4. I bought Trent for a -4 in order to bench. Actually, I think Gabriel was always on my bench. I was having Livramento and Tsimikas in my starting 11. And Gabriel was still on my bench, to be fair. And then I sold those two to buy Trippier and Trent. Start Konsa or Senesi. Jesus in for Haaland for a hit. Definitely don't sell Haaland for a hit. He could be back against Sheffield United and then you'll just want him back again. Probably Senesi. Definitely Senesi. Home to Fulham versus away to United. Yeah. I'd start Senesi. Best goalkeeper replacement. You've got Sanchez. I mean, I still think Dubravka Areola is up there with one of the best rotations. So if you've got one of them, then fine. If not, then Raya. Raya is probably the single best goalkeeper in the game, but I do like the Dubravka Areola rotation. Like, I can show you what it looks like. This is a website called FPL Rotation Planner. So if I want to start 2, if I want 2 to start 1, and I've got start with Doggy or Kabore or -4 for Pedro Porro, I'd start with Doggy. Merry Christmas, Harry. You got Gabriel Zinchenko, Senesi, and Porro. Should I bench or sell any of them? No. I mean, if you need to bench one, oh no, if you've got the same as me, then no, I'd start them all. I'd start them all. West Ham and Newcastle. Right, and I want to rotate. Let's say I want to rotate until, I don't know. Let's just put game week 32 in there, right? Forest at home. Brighton at home, Sheffield United away, Bournemouth at home. Luton at home, Forest at home. Sorry, Forest away, Bournemouth at home. Brentford at home, Wolves at home. Burnley at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, Everton at home, Fulham away. Like, the rotation between these two cheap keepers is why so many of us have done it. If you put it even to the end of the season, where do we get to? Fulham away. Fulham at home, Palace away, Sheffield United at home, Burnley away, Luton at home, Brentford away. Yes, like, we're expecting Pope back before then, but we're all going to wildcard about here anyway, so it doesn't. The bottom ones don't really matter. Lascelles for Cole or Gusto. I'd probably buy Gusto. I probably would buy Gusto. So, yeah, the rotation for these two is so good. And that's why I'm so happy that Areola's come back in, because it makes game week 20 to 22 a lot. It makes those 2 game weeks a lot more straightforward. And it also means if Newcastle go for a goalkeeper in January, I'm not left without a goalkeeper. My voice. Hey, Harry, are you going Salah for captaincy? Yes, I am. That's the plan. Wilson or Isaac starting, we don't know. You think I should bench Porro? Expect Arsenal not a single team managed to keep a clean sheet against Brighton. But he does have the attacking threat that... Yeah, but I just don't back Sheffield United enough to go and want to start Archer. You want Areola and... Yeah. You play... I mean, it doesn't work so well because you've got 23 and 24, the weeks they both have bad fixtures. They have bad fixtures in the same weeks. So you're probably best off... Oh, hang on. Let me look at what the best rotation is, because you might be best off doing Dubravka Raya. But then you're giving yourself a crazy benching headache. Yeah, I mean, Areola Dubravka is the best rotation. Then Raya Dubravka is the second best rotation. So Areola Raya is actually the worst of the 3. Saka, Salah, Son, captain. I mean, mine's on Salah, so that's still what I'll recommend. What website this is called? FPL Rotation Planner. I'll put it in the chat for you all. There you go. Konza versus Lascelles. I mean, I'd start Lascelles in case he plays because the fixture is much better for him, but I don't think he will. Bench, which one? Saliba, Gabriel, Trent, Porro. I mean, probably one of the Arsenal defenders. Probably one of the Arsenal defenders. Any scenario you would bench Bowen this week. Tempted to do that to play double Arsenal defence. I definitely wouldn't do that. But yeah, I still would play Bowen. I still would play Bowen. Over Arsenal double. Bowen is my top midfielder this week, even despite the fixture. A massive thank you for your amazing content this year. No worries. Would it be a crazy move to play Archer over Watkins? I mean, I'm not going to recommend you play Archer over Watkins, to be honest. It's a no from me. I can understand why you'd want to do it, but yeah, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. Bring in Trent or Trippier over Simicast. Trent, definitely. The fixtures coming up for Trippier are not great, so I probably wouldn't be doing that. Sorry. Right. An hour to go to the deadline. We're going to turn on subscribe only mode. You literally have to have subscribed for 1 second. We don't have any Newcastle news. I don't think Lascelles will start, but a lot of you asking about Newcastle news. Like, we're just not going to get it. And we're not going to get an update on pretty much any injury as well before the deadline. There's no press conferences yesterday. There was nothing the day before as well. So unlikely to get any real update in terms of availability, in terms of injuries, anything like that. Lascelles, I don't expect to start. Simicast sounds like he's definitely out for a reasonable amount of time. Richarlison, I'm expecting to be okay. Burnley are going to beat Liverpool. Really? I'd be surprised. But confirmed transfers. I mean, I'm not making one this week. My team definitely doesn't feel like it needs a transfer. I feel like rolling the transfer is definitely the better option. I've got a lot of stuff I can do next week with 2 transfers. But yeah, this week is rolling. Trent for captain. Trent for captain. I mean, no. I don't know the last time. I don't know the last time I captained a defender. And it's just not something I'm going to recommend doing. Ever, really. Apart from in a double game week, I think I might have captained Lewis Dunk once, and that didn't go well. So I will not be doing the Lewis Dunk experiment again. Bench 1, Colwell, Baldock, Gahey, Gabriel, Konza. Who do Palace have? Chelsea away. That's not great. Konza's not great either. Colwell and Gabriel definitely start. Baldock I would also start. It's Gay versus Konza. I probably would play Konza. Actually, no, yeah, no. I'd play Gahey because Chelsea are with the injuries in midfield or suspensions, I should say. Should I sell Haaland for -4 and get Trent? No, I wouldn't be selling Haaland. I don't think he'll play this game, but if you haven't sold him by now, I don't think I'd be selling him. Bad last game week. Bring in one of Solanke and Kunku for this game week. Probably still Solanke, just because his stats are so good at the moment. His data is so good. Like 0.7 XG, 0.8 the previous game, 1.3 against Villa, 0.6 against Sheffield United, 1.18 against Newcastle. Like, his data is really, really good. So still think Solanke is the best buy. Bowen or Archer? Bowen. Bowen still. Simicast out for or start Archer and roll. I mean, it depends. If your defense is strong enough this week, I do Archer and roll. I'd do Archer and roll. I'd do Archer and roll. Is Romero injured? We don't know. He went off with an injury the last game. Whether he comes back quickly enough or not, we don't know. They don't play until Thursday evening. So, I mean, yeah, it's possible that they don't know yet. Should you keep Darwin? I would keep Darwin. Yeah, I would. If you've kept him, I think he'll start on the left, which actually I think is his best position. I think he'll play left wing in this one. I don't think Diaz will be playing because of that injury, or if he's available, I'm not sure it'll be risk. And he's not been great recently as well. So I do think Darwin will start against Burnley. So if you've got him, yes, keep him, and yes, start him as well. Play Colwell or Archer? Probably Archer. This is a boring deadline. I mean, a little bit. There's less to talk about this deadline than there are on some of the other ones, that is for sure. Start Archer or Kudus. I probably, again, like Bowen, I probably would still start the West Ham midfielder. I probably would still start the West Ham midfielder. I'd play Kudus and Bowen over playing Archer. Thoughts on Zinchenko. Thinking of Gusto in for him. Oh, I need to talk about the why we might not buy. So the thing is, if Tomiyasu is available, he'll go away to the Asia Cup. So you should be all right with Zinchenko for these 4 games. I wouldn't be selling him. I don't think I'd buy him, though. If Lascelles does start, should I play him or keep Archer starting? I'd probably keep Archer starting. Bank, nice moves. Yeah, so let me talk about this. So let's get the Liverpool fixtures up. So we're all selling Salah. If we all sell Salah in game week 21, game week 21, 22, 23, they're almost guaranteed to miss. And if they get to the final, if they get to the final 4 of that tournament, they'll miss game week 24. Okay? So that will be him out of those games. And then you think, okay, well, you bring him back for Brentford away, Luton at home. Luton at home clashes with the Carabao Cup final. Carabao Cup final, of which Liverpool are one of the final 4 teams and have Fulham in the semi-finals. So they're expected to reach the final of that cup, which would mean Salah would miss 21, 22, 23, 24, be back for 25, blank again in 26, and then game week 29 is also a blank because it clashes with the FA Cup quarterfinals. This clashes with the FA Cup quarterfinals. So it's possible that Salah plays 1, 2, 3. He could play 3 Premier League games between game week 21 and game week 30. One week punt forward below 5.7, not Archer. We'll come back to that in a second. 5.7 or under. Luton, Sheffield United. Surprised you don't want to do Archer. It's probably where I would go. I mean, if you want João Pedro to start, but they don't have a great fixture. Is Mopai going to start at home to Wolves? Maybe. There's not many in there. Play Gabriel, Saliba, double arse defence or Archer. I'd probably bench one and play Archer because I do think West Ham are pretty good going forward. So on Salah, what that means is a similar situation for Spurs. Because in game week 26, they play Chelsea, who are the other team predicted to be in the Carabao Cup final. So Son could do the same. He could blank in 21, 22, 23, 24, come back for Wolves at home, then not be available for Chelsea away, then have Palace, Villa, blank. Like, it's the same. And I was considering holding Salah and Son, and I think I'll probably sell both of them because I just don't think there'll be at least one of them we don't buy back. There's at least going to be one of them I think that we won't buy back. And we might wildcard here anyway. I wildcarded game week 27 last year. It's very possible that we do it again this year. So I do plan on probably selling both Salah and Son. I do plan on selling both Salah and Son. So, yeah, I plan on selling both. Son and Salah will go. My plan at the moment is Bowen Richarlison. But I just don't know about Richarlison if Son's not there. That was the plan at the moment. Bowen, Richarlison, and then Archer to Haaland. That's the plan at the moment. And then allows me to keep Trippier, Trent. Me too. Son and Salah out during Asia Cup and AFCON. It's just the fact that they have a blank, in theory, a week after. If you sell them, you'll be cheering both of them on, and you won't want them to come back. You want them to stay away as long as possible if you sell them. Because, yeah, they could be back. You might not want to buy them until game week, like a lot later. Yeah. And Nkunku thought, he looked good when he came on. I think he starts at least one of the next two. I'm pretty certain that he'll start Palace. I don't know. We don't know, but I think he'll start this game. Without Palmer and without Sterling there, I can't see us lining up without him. I can't see how we line up without him in there. To be honest. You already have a doggy. Should I still get Pedro Porro for Simicast? I don't know who your other defenders are, but just because you've got your doggy doesn't mean Porro is a worse option. Why no Zinchenko? Just because I think he might get benched at some point because he's been pretty poor. He's been pretty poor. Mudryk, Jackson, Noni is who I think will start. But if Enzo is still ill, we don't know if Caicedo's available either, that Gallagher might have to play deeper, and then that leaves Nkunku to play in the 10. That's actually where I think he plays. I don't think he'll play up front, but I think he'll play in the 10. Behind the striker. That's what I think will happen. But do we have any Newcastle predicted lineups? No. My prediction, only mine, is Trippier, Schär, Botman, Livramento, Dubravka, Gordon, Isaac, Almiron, probably. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, unfortunately. Do I reckon Livramento will start? I do. You didn't use your wild card. When do you think I should use it? Well, either this week or next week, or you lose it. You have to use it before game week 20. You have to use it before 11 o'clock on the 30th of December, or you will lose it. And you'll get your new one, but you won't have two. You'll just have one. So you won't get your new one, effectively. Yeah, Tony's an interesting one as well. Tony will be back. in 2 weeks. That is very true. 7.9 million. And he's going to walk into Forest at home. To be fair, the fixtures are not great. Forest at home, Spurs away, City, Wolves, Liverpool, West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal. But if he's there from game week 29 onwards, then yeah, I probably would definitely be considering him. Trent captain, like he's a good differential, but I'm not sure I'd ever captain a defender. How are Brentford fixtures between and predicted wildcard? Not great. Pretty awful, actually. It's not a great run. Is Lascelles definitely out? No. He's not definitely out, but I don't think he starts even if he is available. I'm not sure he'll start if he's even available. Villa tick lots of boxes from game week 20. Best mid to buy, Douglas Luiz. The fixtures are good for them from game week 20. Like Burnley at home, like Everton away, but then like Newcastle at home. Newcastle away from home have not been great. Sheffield United, Fulham, Forest, Luton. Like they're very nice picks. So maybe that's better than Richarlison. Maybe I go Douglas Luiz over Richarlison. Is that really dull? When I don't need the money. The fixtures from here are okay. But if they're likely to blank in 26... Maybe Douglas Luiz is better. They're at home to Forest, so that's definitely better. Interesting. One to consider. Bowen and Douglas Luiz. I feel like I've just got to come round to the point that Douglas Luiz is a good pick. Would I start Diaby or Senesi? Probably Senesi. I don't expect Diaby to start. Who would I start, Archer or Livramento? Probably Livramento. I do think Livramento will start. I am guessing. I don't know. Haaland news, yeah. Like, we don't know anything. I was expecting even some training photos from Man City yesterday, and we just didn't get anything. Like, there's just been nothing. So, yeah, I don't think we'll see Haaland today or tomorrow. But, yeah. Don't think we will see Haaland this game week. He might be on the bench, but I'd be very surprised. Would I go for Saliba or Odegaard? Probably Odegaard. He's been very, very consistent. I recommend it as a differential over Saka a few weeks ago in a couple of my transfer targets video, and I know a few people went with it, and it's definitely paying off. If I was buying now, I'd probably buy Odegaard over him. Speak closer to the mic. Sure. Let me check my mic settings are alright, but it should be fine. It's no different to... It's no difference to previous weeks. No, it's fine. Cool. Best defender transfers for Lascelles. Depends how much money you've got. Depends how much money you've got. Probably Gusto if you need a cheap one. Probably Gusto if you need a cheap one. Best 1 week punt in the whole game. In what position? I mean, Alvarez is a good 1 week punt if Haaland's not going to play. NUFC Will says Lascelles is out. I mean, It wasn't 100% right 2 weeks ago. But that was my prediction anyway, so... Yeah. Doesn't make sense to get in Gordon this game week for Diaby, considering that Newcastle next 2 fixtures are difficult. To get in Gordon this game week for Diaby, considering... I mean, I probably wouldn't buy Gordon now. Again, as you say, 20 and 21 and 22 are difficult. Gordon is a great asset again from 23. The fixtures there are really nice for him. Harvey Barnes will be back, but I think they'll rotate more. But he'll rotate more, maybe. Yeah, I've seen the Newcastle stuff. I'm not 100% like certain on it. It was my prediction anyway that I didn't think he was going to start. Team News and Ticks have retweeted it, who are reliable. So, yeah, I mean, whether it's gospel or not, whether it's, yeah. I'm a little bit cautious with that one, but I don't predict he starts anyway. Like, my prediction didn't have Lascelles in anyway. Palmer replacements. I wouldn't sell Palmer. I'd keep him. Start Kudus or Archer. So I would start Kudus and Bowen both over Archer. Who to replace Tsimikas, Lascelles with? You've got Gabriel and Udogie. I mean, a cheap Chelsea defender works. Gusto, another Arsenal defender. Trent, if you can get them. Why Salah and not Son? I mean, Salah has been very consistent, and Burnley are not great, and they do like to still attack while they play at home. So, why is Trent not in my top defenders? He is, isn't he? Oh, it hasn't updated. Sorry. Let me refresh it. There you go. I'd probably put him below an Arsenal defender this week. If you don't have an Arsenal defender, I'd probably buy that this week. Start Diaby or Archer. Diaby or Archer. I mean, I don't think Diaby starts, so I'd start Archer. Yeah, Diaby just looks like he's completely out of favour compared to where he was at the start of the season. Happy Boxing Day. Thank you for streaming. No worries. What's my opinion on Tsimikas for Gusto to allow move from Kabore to Trent in 21? Is 21 too late for Trent? Why can't you just do Tsimikas to Trent? Because surely you have the money for that. If you're doing Tsimikas to Gusto and Kabore to Trent, surely you just do Tsimikas to Trent this week. In 21. Can't you just do Tsimikas to Trent? If not, then yeah, fine. I don't hate Gusto. You think Diaby starts? I mean, he's gone with Leon Bailey recently and he's been very good for them. So, will Nkunku start? I mean, I think so, but I don't know. I do think he will. What's my Whoop recovery score today? I actually don't know. I need to have a look. Probably not great. Probably not great. Double last defense or start one and a Dingra. Probably start one and play a Dingra. I like Arsenal, but just doubling up on defenses this season hasn't always paid off. What should I do with Simicast? You already have Trent, Gabriel, and Porro. Probably Gusto. You haven't got many options there for him not to start. Well, it could be a Diaby, Bailey, Watkins all starting, but I'm pretty sure Leon Bailey will start, which isn't great for Diaby's minutes. It depends if the likes of Tielemans is back or not. Best wildcard goalkeepers. Dubravka and then either Areola or Leno. Areola or Raya, sorry. Depends if you want that Arsenal coverage in goal or whether you're going to pick it in defence. Starting Livramento over Porro. Fairly confident he starts. I think he starts, but I'm guessing. Will Darwin start? I expect him to. But yeah. Any news on Haaland? No. I don't think he starts. I'm not sure if you've covered who will cover Simicast for Liverpool. Yeah, Gomez will cover at Liverpool for Simicast, but Robertson is expected back in game week 21, which only gives you 2 weeks if you do buy Joe Gomez, so I definitely wouldn't go and buy him. Jay Pups, thank you for joining as a base tier member. Welcome to the channel. Start Leon Bailey or Baldock instead if Palmer, please. Probably I'd still play Bailey. I'd still play Leon Bailey. Yeah, no worries. Don't go buying Joe Gomez, please, anyone. Please don't go buying Joe Gomez. Why is Trent not in my top defenders? He is. He's 4th. He's 4th now. It didn't update for some reason, but I had to update that. No worries. Convinced me to get Porro over second Arsenal defender. It's pretty close. Clean sheets have been pretty hit and miss this season. I like having diversity in my defence. Maybe a double Arsenal is better than Porro, given the upcoming fixtures now. Maybe I would just go double Arsenal. Now that he's 5.6 as well. His attacking data is really, really good though. Even with the blank against Everton, he didn't do much. 0.7 against Forest, 0.5 against Newcastle, 0.6 against West Ham, 0.6 against Villa, 0.6 against Wolves. So once Maddison comes back, he might be a little bit worse. But right now, he's one of the most attacking creative defenders in the league. So start Miley or transfer to a 45 million mid. Yeah, it's either, if you're going cheap, Ross Barkley and Townsend. I can't believe we're talking about Ross Barkley and Ross Townsend in 2023, almost 2024. But he's getting a lot of minutes. Barkley's getting slightly more minutes, but Townsend's goal threat is better. Still Watkins or Gusto. You haven't concur already. Watkins, I'd start over Gusto. Well, I think Willian will start. I just don't know. We've got no update on it. We just got no update on it. So I can't really help on players like that. Richarlison again, I can predict whether I think he's going to start, but he did pick up a back injury. So any news, Nate? Mate, no, not really. Nothing. We're not expecting very much either. J Pups, 1 free transfer. You can't decide if Simicast to Trent is worth doing or roll in case Haaland is back game at 20. The rest of your team looks fine. I mean, it doesn't sound like Haaland's going to be available for this week, which means is he going to start then? You need to sell Simicast. I probably would do it. I don't know who's on your bench to play. If you think your bench player can match Trent or get close to Trent this week, then I wouldn't do it. I would only do it if it really strengthens your squad this week. I'd only do it if it really strengthens your squad this week. I felt that it really strengthened my squad last week. That's what I did it. Sorry, let me put my team back up on screen. Pedro or Zinchenko this week? Zinchenko, probably. Probably Zinchenko. What do I think about Isaac? I think he should start, but we don't know that. It could be Wilson again, but I think it'll probably be Isaac. But because he was on the bench the other day and played off the bench, so be careful, by the way. There's going to be lots of people this morning with Newcastle being the early team. There have been lots in previous weeks who have not been right. So be careful who you believe on Twitter. There's going to be a lot of people trying to predict. And I think there's quite a lot of the Newcastle team that we probably can predict today. But yeah, just be careful with who you're believing. Is Trippier a vital defender to have? Absolutely not. After this week, their fixtures become quite difficult. Like, I'm okay with my defense. Going into game week 20, like, Trent at home to, like, this is fine. I'll probably bench Trippier next week. Or I'll play Trippier instead of Gordon. I'll play Trippier over Gordon, maybe. Is Trippier better than Gordon? Probably. Got Sterling. Who to replace him or start Archer? I'd probably just start Archer. Literally, people... So if you're asking about whether to start Archer, I feel like the whole point that we have players on our bench is for weeks like this. Where we suddenly get a suspension and the player first on our bench has a good fixture, just play him. If you don't think you want Sterling long term, then that's something different. But don't sell Sterling just because he blanks this week. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's happened with the super chats. They don't show up on my chat at the moment. 1 free transfer. Lascelles to Gusto or Mubama to Archer. Lascelles to Gusto, probably. Lascelles to Trent or Saliba. Already have Gabriel, Colwell, Porro. I mean, if Trent doesn't make getting Haaland back too difficult, then yes, Trent. But if you didn't own Gabriel, then I'd say Gabriel. I'm just Saliba at 5.5 or whatever he is now feels like quite a lot. Isaac starts apparently. Interesting. Do I think Livramento will start? Yes, I do. I'm not categorically believing all the stuff on Twitter, by the way. A little bit cautious of it, but my prediction still is the same. Like, it's the same as what I'm predicting. That Livramento will start at left back, Isaac will start up front, and Botman and Cher will start at centre back. That's my prediction. It makes the most sense. Must buy wildcard players. I mean, Arsenal defender, probably Trent. I mean, my defence with Gusto in for Taylor is probably the wildcard defence. Then in midfield, I mean, Son is probably still in there if you're wildcarding this week. So is Salah because there's no Haaland. You need to roll your transfer or you need to be ready to go and get Haaland back is the only thing. I don't think my team's massively away from what a wildcard team would look like. If I was wildcarding in 19, what would I do differently? Like, I would have Gusto in here as my cheap 4.1. Archer, Palmer I'd keep. Like, Watkins I'd keep. Solanke I'd keep. Maybe I wouldn't go Gordon. Maybe I'd sell Gordon and go... But, like, maybe I would just keep him. Maybe I'd sell Gordon and go, like, Maddison or Bowen or Richarlison straight away. Like, maybe I'd go, like, where's Richarlison? Maybe I'd do something like this on wildcard. And maybe I wouldn't go Saka. Maybe I'd go Odegaard if I was actually on wildcard. But I'd probably wildcard something like this. Maybe the defense is too heavy. Maybe it makes us inflexible. Maybe you don't want to do all of that. In which case, I'd probably sell Trippier. I mean, you could go cheap. You could go Trippier back to Botman. How much is Botman now? Like 4.5. Burn is 4.4. Botman is 4.5. So you could just go Botman. Because then you can just bench him for the next few. Maybe I'd do that and I wouldn't go Trippier now. You have 2 free transfers and your wildcard using it in game week 20. Simicast, Sterling and Palmer to be removed. 1 week punt suggestions. I mean, Trent in defence. Like Livramento in defence. If you don't have the money for Trent. Sterling and Palmer if you need midfielder punts. I mean, punt on Foden. Home to Sheffield United. Oh no, that's game week 20. Sorry, game week 19. I mean, you could still punt on Foden. Arsenal, you could punt Odegaard. Where else? You could punt Tavernier if you need a cheap one for Palmer. Do I use your free transfer to get a playing bench player? No. Well, it depends if you've got anyone in your starting 11 that you don't... If you actually don't think they're going to get minutes. If you think they're even going to come off the bench, then probably not. If your bench is just like injured and suspended players, then no, I wouldn't do it. Then no, I wouldn't do it. Play Kudus in mid or Gabriel at the back. Probably Kudus. I'd favour the attacker there. Archer or Gusto to start. Probably Archer. Actually, no. Probably Gusto. It's pretty close. Probably Gusto, though. It's very close between those two. How do I plan on bringing back Haaland? I mean, if we get any news that he's going to be back in for that Sheffield United game, like let's say he's on the bench against Everton, then next week when I've got 2 transfers, I'll just do Archer and probably Salah to Haaland and Richarlison. To Haaland and Richarlison. Bench 1, Gabriel, Gordon, Watkins, Nunes. Interesting. Probably Gabriel. You already have Saliba starting, then. I mean, I'd probably bench Saliba and play Gabriel, but I'd bench an Arsenal defender. We are 10 subscribers from 91,000, and we are about 50 likes from 1,000 likes. So if we hit both of those, I will not ask you again for the rest of the stream until we finish. So if you haven't liked already and you haven't subscribed already, then please do those. That will put us within 9,000 subscribers of 100k. The road before the end of the season. Can we do it? What do I think? What to do with Bowen and Haaland if I had the funds? Yes, I would do Bowen over Richarlison if I could. Bowen would probably just wait a week until I sell Son, and then I'll get Bowen. I'll probably get Bowen in 21 then. Sheffield United away. That's the plan over the next few weeks. So, roll this week. 19 if Haaland's back to do Salah and Archer to Haaland and then Richarlison as well. Richarlison probably. I'm not sold on Richarlison. It could be someone else. Game week 21 when Son goes to the Asia Cup. Son out, Bowen in. Probably play something that looks like, I don't know. this. It gives me a front 8 with a nice benching headache every week. But here, like, maybe we'd bench Palmer away at Liverpool. Maybe we bench Solanke still. Game week 23, like, Solanke would probably start. Like, I don't know who on earth we'd bench. It does give me a little bit of a benching headache because it gives me a front 8. But I want it. The reason, as I said in my video this week, I originally planned to sell Solanke back to Haaland, but the reason I don't want to do that is because they might get a double game week at some point before I play my wild card, and if that Luton game's added in as part of a double, then I just know I'll want Solanke back. So I plan on keeping him. So asking about will I lose value on Salah and Son, and am I concerned? I'm not actually very concerned. The reasons for it, I spoke about it earlier in the stream, but I'll do it again. So game week 21, they go away, right? So Salah goes away to the... Let me also get the dates of... Let me get the round dates up just so I can show you. Right, it's Wikipedia, but if they get to the semi-finals, they play on the 7th of February. Both teams are predicted to get pretty close to the semi-finals as well. If they would play on the 7th of February, which means, but then if they get to there, they also are guaranteed to play a game on the 10th or 11th, right? So they will miss game week 24. They'll probably be back for game week 25. Now, if they get knocked out earlier, they might. So let's say they get knocked out in the quarterfinals on the 2nd or 3rd. They'll definitely miss that, but they'll probably be back for game week 24. Game week 24, let's say they're back for that. Game week 25, they're also playing. Game week 26 is the final of the Carabao Cup weekend. The fixture that the final is predicted is Chelsea-Liverpool. So Liverpool would have a blank in 26. Spurs play Chelsea that week. So Son is also predicted to blank in game week 26. So Salah and Son will miss 21, 22, 23. At the moment, they're predicted to miss 24. They might be back for 24. 25, they play. 26, they blank. 29 is also the FA Cup quarterfinals, which is also the big blank game week of the season. So it's possible that they miss 21, 22, 23, 24. They play in game week 25. They miss 26. They play in 27, 28, and they miss 29. In which case, I'm just not sure I'll be buying them back. In which case, I just don't think I'll be buying them back. So, Ali, no money in the bank. You have 2 transfers this week. Do Simicast to Burn or Botman and carry the second transfer for next week to do Salah to Richarlison and Ward-Prowse and bring in Trent for Lascelles. I mean, do you have Haaland? Maybe you have Haaland. Then yes, those plans work. Just make sure you have a route back to Haaland if he's back for Sheffield United at home. You're sorry if you answered your question already. That's all right. But which 3 defenders would I start? I'd bench Gahey and I'd probably bench Walker. Whistle tone. Thanks, Harry. No worry. You're thinking of starting Raya, Saliba, Cher, and Pinnock versus Wolves with Porro on the bench. I mean, I'd probably play Porro over Saliba just because you've got Raya. Just because you've got Raya in goal. Should you play Alvarez? Yes, definitely. He should be playing up front for City with Haaland out. He probably should play up front again. So yes, definitely start Alvarez if you've got him. Prediction is that Livramento should start. The prediction is that Livramento should start. I've got triple Newcastle in this early kickoff. triple Newcastle. Thanks, boss. You're the goat. Appreciate it. Play Taylor or roll. I probably wouldn't. I do Taylor to Gusto and play Gusto. If you're playing Taylor this week, then I probably wouldn't want to do that. What's Newcastle backline? We don't know. My prediction is Trippier, Botman, Share, Livramento. That's the plan at the moment. Should I take a negative for Solanke? I mean, I don't know who you're selling. Probably not, but probably not. Like, I wouldn't do Darwin to Solanke for a hit. There are a lot of players I wouldn't sell to Solanke for a hit. Livramento or Gusto bench. I probably would bench Gusto first and play double Newcastle defense, even if you've got Dubravka, Felix. You're selling Haaland. Interesting. The issue with selling him now is you'll want him back maybe next week or the week after, which is your 2 free transfers for the next 2 weeks going on selling and buying Haaland back. And a guarantee it locks you into a hit. So for me, I wouldn't go selling. I wouldn't go selling Haaland. Hey, Davey. Lo Celso or Archer? Whom to start? Archer. Lo Celso might not start. I'm sure Davey would agree. Why Palmer first sub? I mean, he's not going to play, right? He's actually in my starting 11. The little ring light that I have at home is top quality stuff. Not. Areola or Turner to start? Probably Areola. I mean, I don't expect much from either of them. Start Gabriel or Porro? Probably Gabriel. Hwang Hee-chan or Archer? Who do Wolves have again? Brentford. Probably Hwang. Just that Brentford team without Tony and Mbumo are very light on the ground. To be fair, they've been quite lucky, Brentford. Their depth is so poor without Tony that as soon as like someone major got injured like Mbumo, they're without him, but they're only without him for like a couple of weeks. If it had happened in game week 5 or 6, they would be in a bit of trouble, I think. But yeah, Tony back in a couple of weeks. Harry, I need to swap Palmer out of first sub. If one of my players doesn't play and Palmer doesn't play, it just goes to the second sub. It doesn't sub Palmer in with 0 points. It just puts him. It just goes to the second sub. It doesn't include Palmer, so it doesn't matter. He could be my starting 11. He could be my captain this week. Bench 1 of Gabriel, Zinchenko, Hwang, Archer, Porro. Gabriel, Zinchenko, Hwang, Archer, Porro. Bench 1. Probably Archer. From that group. One second. So bench 1 we've done. So Archer or Botman? Archer. Don't worry. I get it all the time. People jump in between streams. Don't worry. So you've still got Haaland and you've got 2 of your transfers. Do I hold him? I would still hold him. I'd just upgrade around him. Like, I think if you've got 2 transfers this week, like what I've told my brother to do is do Charlie Taylor to Gusto of Chelsea. Like, Feels like, yeah, the best move. That just like strengthens your bench quite a lot. So if you're in the similar situation with Haaland, I'd do something similar. Romero or Isaac? Probably Isaac. Would I bench Mengi or Souček? Probably Souček. He's not been great recently. Yeah, if you've got Haaland already, then I think it works quite like well just to do. I can't remember what your questions were, Ali. Should I start Semenyo, Garnacho, or Gusto? Probably Gusto. 10 minutes to the deadline. Correct. Bowen's away form is outstanding. Yeah, it is. His away form is really good. Top goalkeeper transfers, like Raya. Raya 1, Dubravka 2, Areola 3, probably. Livramento starting. He is predicted to, yes. Ooh. He is predicted to. Trent captain? Nah. Like loads of people asking about Trent captaincy this week. Like Burnley are a team that do like to attack, so I do think it's possible that they score today. So I don't. Oh yeah, today it is today. I'm not sure I'd be captaining him this week. Sorry. The thing that was in your hair last week is gone now. Oh, the light. It was just a light I had like above me. Never good. Why am I not playing Archer? Like, I don't know who I'd bench. Maybe one of my defenders, but I'm quite happy with them. Brought in Trent for Simicast. Yeah, have Lascelles and Taylor first on your bench. Have another free transfer. Yes, I probably would do Lascelles to Gusto. I don't really want to play Taylor this week if I was you. How long have we got? 9 minutes to go until the deadline. Start Areola or Leno. Probably Leno. Pick the bench wisely this time. True that. Last week was painful. Hopefully not this time, because at least I got one player who doesn't do anything on my bench. What to do with Haaland? Keep him if you've got him. 32 points on my bench. Ouch. Correct. When is Haaland back? I don't know. Probably not against Everton. Archer or Nicholas Jackson? Probably Jackson. How the hell do I have 3 Newcastle players? They've been good at points this season, particularly at home. So maybe they can, do it today. But yeah, let's see. Is Colwell going to start? Yes. Don't see any reason for him not to start. Will Gusto play? Yeah, again, I think he starts. Same team, but with Raya over Areola. Who to start? If that was me, I'd probably play Raya in goal and play Archer over Gabriel. If that was me. Starting 11. Any suggestions for Alvarez? Watkins captain is not the one this week at all for me. Maybe he'll return and then I'll be happy because at least I own him, but I wouldn't be captaining Watkins this week. Captain, Solanke, Son or Trent. Captaincy ranking is up. If you guys, again, we've only got 5 minutes to go until the deadline. So if you are looking for top forwards, midfielders, defenders to buy, like there is a ranking coming around. Top forwards are there. You've got midfielders, you've got defenders, you've got captaincy there as well. So I will just answer based off like who I've put in that ranking because that ranking is my opinion. Start Pinnock or Burn. I'd start Pinnock because we're not sure Burn's going to start. Will... Diaby start? I don't know. I wouldn't take a hit to sell him, but I'm not sure he will start. So if you want to go Richarlison's probably the better long-term pick. You hope Alvarez plays. I'm pretty sure Alvarez will start up front for them. Lascelles or Botman. Botman. Take a hit to swap Darwin to Slanky. Nope. I wouldn't do that. Palmer playing. No, he'll just get subbed out for Trippier. She'll just get subbed out. When am I using my wild card? Not for a while. Not till game week 20 or so. Start Livramento or Archer. Start Livramento or Archer. Livramento. Why Porro over Archer? Because Archer scored last game, then yeah, I don't think he's just that one goal recency bias for a lot of people. I think. Just pick 3: Porro, Gabriel, Trent, or Livramento. Apologies, Tom. I probably would bench Porro out of that lot. I mean, it depends. If you've got Dubravka, maybe you want to bench. Maybe you want to bench Livramento. It depends who your goalkeeper is. Is Trippier bench? No. He comes in for Palmer. Last minute tune in, just made it. We have 4 minutes to go to the deadline. Burn or Archer? Archer. Adingra or Taylor? Adingra. Bowen or Konza to start? Bowen or Konza? Definitely start Bowen. If you've got Bowen, definitely start him. No, Palmer's going to just be on my bench. Palmer's just going to be on my bench. I'm just going to save him on my bench. It's not worth all the questions. Start Colwill or Udogie. Colwill. Will Wilson start? Apparently not. I don't think he will. Nkunku or Darwin or Isaac. To buy, probably Nkunku. Bench one Arsenal defender and start Haaland. Yes, but I mean, you'll probably get them off the bench anyway. What's my plan for next game if Haaland isn't back? I don't quite know. I might still sell Salah because that will be my plan anyway. And he's got Newcastle this week. Start Saliba or Botman? Probably Botman. Probably Botman. Pedro Porro or Gabriel. Porro or Dingra. Probably Porro. Gordon captain. Definitely not. 1 minute to go to the deadline. Please check your teams. We will finish answering questions there. Please go and check that your teams are locked in as you want them to be. Everyone is in the right place. Your captaincy is on the right person. That you've confirmed your transfers and your transfers are not sat on your bench. Go and check your teams because that is going to be the deadline. It will be updating any moment now. Archer or Porro? Porro, as per my team. By Zinchenko or Gusto? Probably Gusto. If you already have an Arsenal defender, then Gusto. Will Kovacic be available? We don't know, but I wouldn't be buying him. When do I plan on playing my wildcard? Game week 31, maybe? About then. The game has updated. That is it for another week of FPL. That is it for another week of FPL deadline streams. This is how we ended up for the week. Can I explain my thinking about making changes between price rises and drops? Want to understand how you make so much cash. It depends. I kind of take it as a risk. If I think the player is going to rise and it's going to be 0.1 price change during the week, then I don't do it. If it's going to be more than that, then I definitely consider doing it. A few other things like do players play in Europe midweek will force me to either wait or, if I need news on other injuries in my team, if I've got a strong bench in case something happens, then maybe. I'm not actually going to the Chelsea game tomorrow. It's about the only game in the year that I don't go because we're always at home for Christmas, so we don't go. Playing FPL this time of year really makes me appreciate how much I hate the game. Funny. Cool. That is it for the deadline. I don't have time to stick around after that. But yeah, we are going to head off. Oh, is there any way to see your transfer history? Intriguing how we got the same team. Yeah, if you go on anyone's team and you scroll down, there'll be a transfer history. You can do it on anyone's team and you can see it, but obviously I can't do it now. Cool. Right. Thank you all very much for watching. We're going to head off now. If you haven't already, please make sure you like the stream and subscribe if you are new around here as well. I appreciate all of the support. We will be back again probably tomorrow with a video on transfer plans for the week. There'll also be a transfer targets video and then a team selection video before a deadline stream before the next deadline. Thank you all. Good luck this week. Fingers crossed for some green arrows. Anyone who brought in Trent, fingers crossed, and hopefully that Newcastle team start us off with a bit of a green arrow. Thank you all. Have a lovely Tuesday and week if you are, whatever you are doing. And yeah, I will see you all again very soon.